We generally treat grocery lists, meeting minutes, and digital calendars as passive data dumps, static vaults built solely for memory retrieval. The problem is that human thought doesn't operate like a piece of silicon. Our cognition is fluid, layered, and vanishes almost instantly. Take a 6-year-old child named Dorian. Sitting in the bathtub, he suddenly announces, "The everything is becoming nothing." It is a profound cosmological thought that would evaporate seconds later if left solely to his internal memory to hold. Viewing our notes as passive storage systems completely misses how humans actually process their moving, day-to-day experiences. Instead of storing data, we are actually creating thinking artifacts. When you write something down, you push a piece of your cognition outside your body, giving that thought a physical surface. By forming this boundary, your mind steps away from the heavy burden, keeping a secure line open to return later. When Dorian says the everything is becoming nothing, capturing his phrase on a piece of paper gives the philosophy a surface to survive on long after bath time ends. We take notes not to hoard information, but to give our incomplete thinking a safe place to wait for us. When we stop viewing notes as hard drives, we can see they behave a lot more like living organisms that grow and metabolize over time. This living ecosystem thrives when it records cognition under pressure, specifically when a human mind is forced to hold conflicting, completely incompatible realities at the exact same time. We call this metastable cognition. You can see the stakes of it clearly in a field note, taken while Dorian was playing a Kirby video game and experienced a sudden emotional collapse. In the game's story, a character named Magalore tricks Kirby, but is later forcefully corrupted by a magic crown. Dorian was sobbing because he had to process both truths simultaneously. His friend intentionally betrayed him, and his friend was violently transformed against his will. Adult logic tends to smooth over these paradoxes, picking one clean explanation to resolve the tension. But writing down the event captures the raw, jagged edge where feeling and causality actually intersect. Because this note ecology is alive, the ideas inside it are constantly drifting, mutating, and recombining. This happens physically. A child builds a block tower to serve as a garage, but when it collapses and it starts raining, the physical problem changes. The collapsed blocks are instantly recategorized and rebuilt as a boat. It happens digitally. When Apple and Google phone interfaces mistranslate an emoji reaction, they create a recurring text glitch called agpoogle, turning a software misfire into a spectral mascot that haunts a group chat. And it happens conceptually. A strange shape-shifting gear ball gets labeled a jellyfish during a guessing game. That single classification then mutates into a recurring joke structure that spans across different toys and allowance purchases. Across all these examples, cognition isn't locked safely inside the brain. It is happening out in the open, in the active space between the human and the physical artifact. A note does not record a thought that already happened. The note is the thought happening in real time. When you look closely at our digital to-do maps, calendar thresholds, and scrap papers, you realize they form a massive, distributed, living version of our minds. But this living ecology has a dark consequence. Because the archive is alive, it possesses its own agency, operating completely independently of our desires. This brings us to the archive wound. It is the precise threshold where preserving a memory stops being an act of care and transitions into a source of pain. The tone of the archive shifts entirely when it comes to departure. It captures the heavy constraints of packing a personal-size bag for a flight, the physical pain of separation, and the desperate stretch of arms reaching through a car window for a final hug. The true power of the archive is its ability to forcefully drag the past into the present, keeping a relationship physically reachable even when that connection can no longer continue in the same form. Certain notes, like a goodbye letter left on a table after moving out, hold the exact shape of a relationship. They sit there waiting, maintaining a presence long after the people involved have changed or walked away. The act of keeping these artifacts is rarely about productivity. It is a tangled, messy combination of love, habit, deep fear, and a stubborn refusal to let go. There is an incredible magic in externalizing our thoughts. It allows our environment to actively remember our lives with us. But that is also the ultimate tragedy of the livable archive.
Because these notes grow back and refuse to die, they continually force us to remember exactly what we should probably forget.